Okay, we're on section 2. It says typeset and study lesson 01 tech. All right. And then what you do is you need to reproduce the PDF. So what I want to do is I want to download this file here. The way to download these files, you just click on them. It's going to download to my computer. Now, what happens a lot of students say, I don't even know where that file is now. Well, if I go up here and click here, I see it right away. It's right here. All right. Now, if I do this, I'm going to hit the Find button. It's going to show it where it is in the Finder. What I suggest you do is create a folder to store this file. So what I want to do is I want to drag it to the desktop because it's in my download folders now. And, someone said, my desktop's all cluttered. I don't know where that is. What's the name of it? It's lesson 0.01 tech. I'm going to just simply create a new folder. And the way to do that is, basically go to the Finder menu. And I'm going to do File, New Folder. And I'm just going to call it Lessons. All right. So what am I going to do? Again, it's a folder. I'm going to take this and put it in the Lessons folder. Let me double click the Lessons folder. And what I want to do is I also want to download. Oh, you know what to do? Inside the lesson folder, I'm gonna call it lesson number 1 now. All right. So I'm going to create a new folder in the Lessons folder. File, New Folder. I'm going to call it lesson.01. And I'm going to drag lesson.01 into the folder. All right. Now I want to go back to my course website and I want to download the exercise PDF. All right. Now that's the PDF right over here. Now someone says, what happened there? Well, it opened up in my web browser. All right. It's a PDF file. All right. They want me to reproduce this over here. But for me to reproduce this over here, what I need to do, I'm going to drag this to the side. I need to go back here and I need to study the lesson. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on this and it opens up. All right. Now, you notice over here, I get choices over here. One of the choices is just to typeset it. So what I want to do is I want to typeset it. I just typeset it and I see it. And I see the output. Now, what I need to do is I need to make a connection between this source file and the output. And you need to study that. Now, of course, when you read that, in the red area are the comments. It says lesson 1. Text following a percent sign. I got this over here. I'm just reading that. Is ignored by the typesetter. I'm going to ignore it. Right? Of course, I'm reading it to you, but I'm going to ignore it when I typeset it. In other words, it's not going to have anything to do with the typesetting. You read all the comments and you read the input. And once you do that, you start to realize, you know what? Maybe you could edit this file. Now, I don't want to change the file, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to close this out. I want to go back to my Finder. I want to tell you what I'm seeing over here. I'm seeing this information over here. Well, what I want to do is I want to make a copy of lessons 1, right? I'm going to make a copy of it. So I'm going to duplicate it, File, Duplicate, and I'm going to call that exercise, right? So I'm going to get rid of the word copy, and I'm going to call it exercise. Again, your goal is to study this. I'm going to double click it. I'm going to typeset it, and I see it. All right. Now, what do I want to do? I want to try to reproduce this over here, and I think I can do it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm looking for lesson 1, the basics. I want to put exercise 1, the basics. All right. So I'm looking for it. I see that over here, and I'm just going to edit that. Exercise 1, the basics. I'm going to typeset, and I'm kind of seeing that. All right. And what I want to do is I want to do this over here. Now, again, I need to study this file over here. I need to study it. Like everything that's over here is going to be contained over here somewhere. For example, what I notice over here, it says, a certain math professor will scream. I notice this is in bold. All right. Now, again, if you study the exercise, you'll see something that tells you how to do bold. All right. I got bold over here too. All right. I got quote marks. I got italic letters, yada, yada, yada. All this stuff is in the exercise folder. Now, what I would recommend you do is just simply do a copy paste. I'll show you what happens, by the way. I'm going to go back to my document over here. I don't want to change too much of it, but I'm going to just kind of boom, 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 bunch of returns in there, and just do this over here. Now, again, you notice when I type it in, I'm looking at it, and it doesn't look like this at all, but I need to do something. What I need to do is, did I study this document? And if I did, I probably saw that had a boldface something, all right? Now, again, I see that over here when I study it, all right? So what do I want to bold? I want to bold screen. So it's going to be backslash text, T-E-X-T, BF for boldface, squiggly brace on screen, all right? What else am I going to boldface cry? T-E-X-T, boldface, cry. And I want to make this Latin phrase italic, all right? Again, I want to say it again. You're going to see something in the notes where it's italic, and you're going to be able to do that, right? When I mean notes, these notes over here. Now, you might say to yourself, I don't really see it. You got to read this file, right? And I want to point out emphasis. Let me do that for you. EMPH. What else am I going to do? I need to put quote marks here. By the way, these are the wrong quote marks. Again, if you study the file, the correct quote marks are going to be boom, boom. I just typed it twice. Boom, boom. Typed it twice. I need to make this italic. It's an emphasis. I need to put this in quote marks. These are the wrong quote marks. I'm putting in the correct quote marks. I'm just editing now. I'm learning as I go along. And I think I got it done. Now, granted, maybe I made a mistake. Let's typeset. And I want to look at it. I want to look at this here. And I want to look at this over here. And is it really the same thing? I'm looking at exercise 1, the basics. Yeah. A certain math professor will scream and may cry if you confuse the Latin. Gee, it looks almost like it really is. Wow, everything looks exactly the same. Now, what I got to do is I got to do this now, right? And I think I can do it. I'm not going to continue with it, though, by the way. I want to point out, I'm going to close this out. And what I want to do is I want to type this in. I adore polynomials. Again, I want to repeat, if I make a mistake, emphasis, that's in italics, right? E.g., E.g. Whoops, I made a mistake. I just noticed it. And I make mistakes all the time. I typed the wrong thing. But I do look at what I'm typing, and I have a habit of doing that, looking up at my typing. I'm not a very good typist, by the way. And then it looks like they got a comma. And then I'm going to type this polynomial in. And what it's going to be, it looks like x to the 4th power plus x squared plus 1. And I'll close it out. And then there's a period. Right? I'm going to typeset again. And I want to see if it looks like what they have. And again, I'm looking at it. I say, I've already checked this part out here. I'm looking at this part. Did I get that right? And I see it. So what you're going to do, you're going to go through this one step at a time until you get it all done. Again, everything that's in this file over here, your practice file, is going to help you with this over here. All right? Shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to close this out. And let me point out what I mean by that. I'm going to close this window. I'm going to close this one. I'm going to show you what happens when I close this thing. It's going to ask me if I want to save it. I do want to save it, by the way. All right, so I want to go back, and I want to emphasize that I created a folder called Lessons. In the Lessons, I have a folder here called Lesson 1. And in that one, I have the Lesson 1 tech file that I really didn't edit. I made a copy of it. I called it Exercise 1. Right, I do want to point out when you do that, you do have the PDF over here, and you got some files that are created when you compile the document. Don't worry about those yet. There's only 2 things you're concentrating on. The source file, which is exercise.01tech, and then the output, which is a PDF file. Again, I hope this has been helpful. And the point of this over here is you need to study the lesson one input file, right? That's over here. This is input, and the output, which is a PDF. What's the relationship between the two? And everything in this document, you need to very carefully study the relationship between input and output. Thank you.